go. We're starting. Hello, YouTube. Welcome back. Today we're just going to be chilling. I'm going to show you some of my card games I've designed, or the card game I've designed, which is Crew. And then I'll also be playing some Frostpunk. Yeah. Is this working? Yeah, it is. Crew, let's see. So, pirate game. I love pirate games. So, I created this card game. It's called Crew. And the premise is dwindle your opponent's HP as low as possible. So, you'll each start with 3 HP. You'll be going back and forth trying to dwindle each leader's HP down to 0. There's factions, not kind of like factions. They're factions like from Root. So they're unique in how their play style works. So they all have the same amount of HP and like energy, which is the resource you have to use to play cards. So I'll show you these cards right here. There's 5 type of cards in this game, and one of the card types is attack cards. So you got up in the top right of it, you can see there's this blue icon. That's the cost. So each character has 5 HP, and so what happens is when you play a card, you pay the cost, then you do the rest of the card. Out of the 5 types, each type does a unique kind of like ability where it's just very unique to that trait or that typing of card. So we got double swing. Double swing basically says, it's the name, so these are all going to be play a card, and when you play one card, your turn ends immediately, but there's a couple things you can do before you end your turn. And so when you play a card, you'll be trying to inflict wounds on the opponent, and then you got some effects that cards might have. So I say I play this card, I play double swing, or no, I'll just do like swing for instance. It costs 0, so I don't have to pay anything. Then I play a wound symbol. The wound symbol just goes, and you play it down. Once you play it down, the opponent, your turn ends immediately unless a card says you can get to go again, but this one doesn't. So you instantly switch turns, and now it's your opponent's turn to react to what you have done. So the opponent will most likely have a card like this. These are defend cards. Their whole premise is to block attacks and allow you to get another turn back. So what I was saying earlier is attack cards are like unique. Their unique ability is that they're very versatile. They have they're kind of just like the do everything type of cards. So we've got blunt counter, basically just it's one of those cards. So if I show you right here, you see the shield icon. So when I played that card earlier, this attack card, there's 1 wound. The opponent now has to play a card to block it, and the way you block a card is by playing a card that has shield icons. And if you have more shields on your card than what your opponent's card with the attack wound has, then you successfully block it. But if an opponent ever is able to get to play 2 cards at a time, you can never then just play another card. So say somehow, I don't know how, but someone plays double swing. This card says this counts as 2 swing cards. So basically it's like this one, but then you played another one. So the opponent, it ends your turn, and now the opponent's turn has to then play reflect or block, and then, but even though he played block, he would have to play another card. He can't use, let's see, right here, dodge. He can't use dodge to then block 2 attacks. One card has to block one card, and another card has to block another card. So you can't use 2 cards to block the same attack. So like this has 3, it can't block 2 of these. It can only block 1 card, and then you have to use another card to then block it. But since you can only play 1 card on your turn, shields or blocking defend cards, their unique trait is that right here you can see this 0-1 number. If it says 1, that means you get to go again, so basically allowing you to play another card. If it says 0, you don't get to do anything, and you just have to end your turn immediately. But like I was saying earlier, there's some things you can do before before you even get to this part. This is like the last part you want to do. So what you would do is you play the cost, play the card. If it has a 1 here, then you get to play another card. Then we got actually got 3 more card types that I have to go over. We got artillery. Artillery are similar to wounds, pretty much the exact same. They don't do much different. Their whole premise is you're kind of like shooting a ton. So so you got bullets and you're firing them off really rapidly. So with these cards right here, you got cannon fire. So how they work is the more artillery cards you have in your discard pile, the more no, it's live streaming. That is my brother. So that means you will be in this video. You're the one who walked in. Right? This is working. Yeah, it is. Perfect. Perfect. Hello? Yeah, I do not want to be hearing myself. So we'll get to the artillery cards. So artillery cards are unique in the fact that they do exactly the same thing as attack cards. So there's nothing different between them except the more artillery cards you have in your discard pile, the more their damage ramps up. So the whole premise is you're firing a ton of bullets, so you're kind of wasting a ton of ammo, and you're more likely to do more damage the more bullets you shoot. So say I play this card, it costs 0. It doesn't have a max damage, so it can't really do. It does nothing. But you instantly discard it. So then your turn ends. Then it goes to your opponent's turn. You play like a block. They only did 1 wound. You block the card. This says you get to play another card. So you go to artillery. You say, okay, well I have 1 artillery card in my discard pile already. So then I can play cannon fire or rapid fire. The thing is with artillery cards is they don't get to do immediately their max amount. So I would have to have 4 artillery cards for this card to do 4 damage. But with this card, it also says 1 shield icon can block all of the wounds. So there's some trade-offs and some abilities. Like we got headshot right here. This costs 4. It's an artillery card, but it can do a maximum of 3 damage. Then it also says discard the top card of the opponent's deck. So this is kind of like a deck building game. So on your turn, you'll be hiring cards from a market or killing them and getting bounties. And then you go from there. But I'll keep going on with the card types first. So we got cannons, and that's their primary focus, to ramp up damage and kind of be like that annoying picking. They just annoying from like a range. It's kind of like the annoying ranger who sits in the back up on top of a hill just like pecking at you. Then we got specials. Specials are they're kind of like the random things, like nothing really defensive, nothing offensive, nothing like artillery wise. So you got these specials which are more just not retreating but tiring. You're just sitting there doing nothing pretty much. You see this and you're like, yeah, why not? So I'll go over. So you got these cards and they're represented by the star icon. Their unique trade is that the cost in the top right will decrease the more wounds you have. So the most you can take without the game ending is 2 on a base game. So this card's lowest it can get is 1. But on like a longer game, say you want to have an extended game, you can have 5 wounds. So that means that would become 0. Basically, it's like a free Gale Geo card. So what this says is the cost of your the next card the opponent plays is 2 more energy, so they're gonna now have to spend more to even play a card. But also, I haven't mentioned are these are like stun effects. So how they work is when you play a card with a stun effect, you get to discard 2 cards from the opponent's hand, and on their next turn, they don't get to draw cards. You draw cards when you play a card. So whenever you play one of these cards, you get to draw another card immediately. So you're always having a surplus of cards. You're never really running low. The main way you would run low on cards is on your turn when you're playing cards and say you have 0 energy left and now you can't play a card. What you can do is you can discard up to 2 cards from your hand, and by doing so, it allows you to then gain back energy depending on what number is depicted up here. So, say you have 0 energy. You have nothing. Right now you're empty. And so what you do is you discard this card. You gain 3 energy back. But say you want to discard another card so you can get 5 energy and get like a full reset. You discard these 2. So now you have 5 energy back, and your turn doesn't end yet because you haven't played a card. Discarding doesn't count as playing a card. So that's like the benefit of discarding, but when you discard a card, you don't get to redraw cards back. Why is this not working? It's tweaking. My gosh. It's tweaking. I don't like this. Oh, hello. Nice to see I have a viewer now. Oh, this is new. Oh. It's tweaking. My screen is not working. Let's see. Wait 1 second. Oh, thank you for the 20 cents. This is new to me, so I'm still figuring it out. But this is awesome. I'm finally getting somewhere. But I'll keep going. So you got the energy cards, and we got one card type left, which is the medic cards. The medic cards are kind of this is all based around a pirate. It's a pirate themed game, so your ideas are going to be formed around, or all the things and themes of the game are going to be formed around pirates and fighting each other and trying to kill each other. So you got medic cards, and medic cards are kind of the card that heals you, but I take theme from, well, if you think in the pirate era, doing medicine or procedures of very consequential, like cutting off limbs and whatnot, that was very risky. So what I did was I took that idea and then implemented it into the game. So if you can see right here, you got like a heart icon, these blue energy icons. How they work is you can play the card and you can gain health back or energy back by just playing it, but their special ability, air quotes, even though it's not really special and it's not helping you, is you get to look at the top card of your deck, and if that card is a defense card or a medic card, I might switch that to a special card, but if it's one of those two at the moment, you get to gain this health, but if it's any other card, you then have to take a wound, and the card like completely negates itself and it becomes useless. So I play this card, I look at the top card of the deck, which it can be helpful, allowing you to see the top card. It gives you a benefit, but it is a risk factor, and so there is cards that allow you to peek at the top card of your deck, which gives you some insight into knowing what your next cards will be. But those are the main 5 cards. This is what your primary deck will be focused around, and this is what you will be trying to create. I've created around 40 cards, I'd say, at the moment. It's not that many, but still a good amount. And so they each all have their unique like abilities. Let me look for one right here. Surgery. When you look at the top card of your deck, if it's an attack card or an artillery card, then you may play another card immediately. So I'm taking the idea of, well, I think I forgot to write something. It ignores the effect of drawing an attack or artillery card. So that means you don't get to take a wound, but you also gain extra benefit if you draw that card. So it kind of adds on. So now we'll get to, nope, wrong thing. I'll cancel this out. Why not? I don't need it. Also, what I'm using, if you're interested, is, what am I using? I'm using Dexterous. It's very simple and very easy to get into. It's primarily made for cards, but you can implement your own. So say you create a card in this, you can then say you create a card in this, you can then transfer those cards that you made into a tabletop, or into Tabletop Simulator on Steam, which allows you to then play the game without having to create any printed versions, which is a very handy thing that you can do in this, which is very helpful as well, because printing a lot of cards and then having to scrap all of them because none of them work, especially if you can see on like all these 5 cards right here, I have to print 6 because each person can get up to 3 of those cards in their deck. So it does pay a toll on printing, especially if you don't have that much ink to work with. Okay, next, this is like my fun part. I like this part. I felt big brain when I was creating this part. So these are called the crewman part. So this is where you're going to be hiring new characters to help you on your journey as your leader is growing and gaining power. So if you look, I got several types of crewman cards, and at the beginning of the game, you'll choose a leader. Oops, wrong thing. You'll choose a leader. I haven't finished it yet, so it's still in the works, but you'll choose a leader, and each leader will give unique traits. So unique abilities, kind of like root factions. So all their play styles are very different in the sense that how they win the game and how their abilities work are completely separate, in that none of them are the same. So like Blackbeard here, it says be the first to send your opponent's HP to 0. So for him to win, he's going to have to send his opponent's HP to 0. But where should I go actually? I'll go to the leaders. So at the beginning of the game, you'll choose a leader, and each leader will have a unique abilities that are completely separate, kind of like root factions from Root, where nothing similar between them two. So Blackbeard will have this unique bounty system with stars, and so the higher his bounty gets, the more stars he unlocks, and the more he can get in his crew's bounties higher, which does even better things, which then also helps him get to his win condition. But as you're playing the game, you'll gain dominance by winning battles with your crewmen from attacking your opponents. And so each person will be trying to collect the most dominance. And whoever has the most dominance, that person's win condition will be the active win condition. So this is a very unique part of the game, is say I have 5 dominance, my opponent has 3, and I'm playing Blackbeard, and my opponent's playing Captain Kidd. I haven't created one for Captain Kidd yet, but just to show. I have more now. So my active win condition, or the game's active win condition, would be the first to send your opponent's HP to 0. So for him, it's going to be trying to send my HP to 0, and for me, it's going to be trying to send him his HP to 0. But say Captain Kidd has 5. Say we both tied on dominance. Whoever has the higher speed total, which is in the top right corner, is going to be in the lead in dominance wise. But say Captain Kidd has a win condition that says who had the highest bounty when the game ends, and the game ends when when someone gets more than 3 wounds. So say I have a bounty of 800 and he has a bounty of 1,000, he would win the game just because his play style focuses around playing bounty cards, and bounty cards help you bounty cards allow you to gain more power, but also help you keep your power hidden. So that's kind of how the leaders work. So this is their HP bar right here. This is their energy bar. You'll just place like a little cube on it, and it'll just slowly go down. Then you got like Captain, the image of what and this is the speed. So just like I was saying earlier, Captain Kidd, I had an idea for what his play style would be, and will have this like 5x5 grid. And how it will work is every time you hire or kill a card in the market, you'll draw a card, and you'll play these little wood shapes, and you'll try to place it into the grid. And by placing into the grid, if you make one straight line vertically or horizontally in the grid, you gain one new ability. And you're trying to make as many lines as possible, which unlocks more abilities. But as you draw more cards, you're gonna have to be as you draw more cards, you're gonna have to be changing out the pieces and switching them in. So you want to always try to keep as many lines straight as possible, I think. Yeah, so that's kind of how his would work. But now we get onto the market. So in the game, there'll be a market of 20 cards, and they'll consist of all these type of cards, and they'll be between you and the opponent. And so you'll shuffle them, and you'll have to play both the copies of that card in the market. So if you have two captain cards, you have to put them in the market just so that there's an even opportunity for both you and the opponent to gain that same card. But you will have more than 20 cards to play with, so you won't have to worry about not having enough variety. So once you shuffle your deck, you'll deal out 5 cards in between you and the opponent so that both of you can look at it. And so you got the name, and you got like so on the top left you got the name of the card, and then the top right is the power of the card. And so when you're playing cards, these will stack on top of each other, giving your total cards more power. So say these cards are stacked on top of each other, their total power will be 7. Kind of makes sense. I try to keep the numbers ranging from 0 to 3, so there's not going to be insane mathematical equations like you're Albert Einstein or something. But that's kind of how the power system works. So it just stacks up on top of each other, and then whoever has the higher power when 2 crewmen attack wins. Right under the captain, this is where the deck building aspect of the game is, which I kind of like. Is there's a skill card. So all these are called skill cards, and so these are things like your leader does. I'm not calling captain because there is a crewman called captain, so I'm calling these cards leader cards, and these are all called skill cards. And skill cards, how they work is, or how these cards work is, they give your leader, so your main deck, more cards to work with. So say I play, let's choose a fun one. Let's say right here. So I play. So there's a card in the market called Outcast. On the bottom of the card, there will be a requirement to hire the card. So on this card, it says discard the top 3 cards of your deck. So you discard the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you get to hire the card. When hiring a card, what you do is you... Here, wait 1 second. I'll be back. This should be a good example. I printed my own versions of the cards, so I have something to work with, and then playtest as well. So, oops, wrong cards. So your leader will have 3 your leader will have 3 cards that begin the game with him. So, wrong card. Gunner. Put the Jester and Musician. Okay, so let's just say Blackbeard has these 3 cards. So we got Gunner, Jester, and Musician. So these are the 3 cards that your leader will start with, and they'll just get placed right in front of you. They'll just get placed right in front of you, and so these cards will never get removed, or they might get changed, but for the most part, there'll always be a card on the top, and so when you hire a card by doing what the bottom of the card says, you get to then place the card. Say, but this is only for hiring. When you hire a card, you can switch the card, your top card. So this is the top card. I can switch it out and make this a card under it, or the hire card, which is this one, I can just place it under it. And when you hire a card, you always place the card on top of it, and so that the red numbers will be stacked on top of each other. So it gives the opponent knowledge of how much power your card will get. So if you see right here, this card's total power would be 2. So that's how much it would be. But you can hire up your character, your main crewman, the top card can have a maximum of 5 cards under it, which would counting bounties and hired cards. And so hired cards always get placed on top of the card so that a tiny bit of that red circle can be shown so that you can calculate it. But you can also kill a card by gaining a bounty. So you can gain a bounty. And so how you gain bounties is, so this card right here has a power 2. You see that? So it has power 2. And so when the cards are in the market, if you look, this is the power, that's the red circle is the power of the card. And so what you do is, if this is in the market, you choose a crewman to then attack that card. And when you choose it, if your crewman that you chose to attack it has a higher power than the card in the market, it kills it. And that's my mom.
Sorry.
Oh, because it's live streaming, so that means it's just whatever. So it gets, if it has more power, you place the card under it, and so you want to, when you place the card under it, just show these two numbers. So this is the bounty total. So that's how much the card's bounty will be. So this card has a bounty of 600 at the moment, and so you can keep increasing that and you just keep stacking it. And the more it has on its bounty, the stronger it's going to be. But the benefit of getting bounties is that if you look, you can't see the card's power up. You can't see the card's power under it, so you kind of have to guess. So that's what the bounty is there for. The bounty tells you the card is going to be powerful, but they don't know in what sense it's going to be powerful. The skill could be powerful, the card's power could be powerful, or the card's bounty. So when a crewman loses a fight to another crewman of your opponent's cards, they get to choose between killing one of your hired crewmen on the card, which would be up here, or killing one of these bounty cards on the bottom. And if they kill a bounty card, they take it, put it off to the side, and when they do, at any point in the game, they may choose to activate this effect right here, which is the bounty's reward. And the bounty's reward basically just gives you a like a short-term buff. So this bounty reward says, take 2 cards from your discard pile, and add them back into your deck. And so that's the primary premise of the game. I'm still working on it. Haven't gotten too many playtests on it, so it's still really moldable and still changing a ton. But for the most part, it's very solid at the moment. I did have like a weird version. It was very simple. Let's see if I can find it. No, I destroyed it. No, right here. So this was like an older version of the game that was a lot simpler. This number right here, on your turn, you get to play 3 cards, and whoever had the highest total number of this would win the game. That's it. But then I added some weird stuff, and it got way too complex. And so I had to scratch all of it and restart from 0. So what I did was I created this new system, and so far it works pretty cleanly, actually. But that's my game at the moment, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Start playing Frostpunk now. Haven't played this game before. Seems interesting. I kind of like everything. There's nothing specifically that I enjoy. I'll play anything. Shush. Why is it popping up on this side? Oh, thank you. No, the game better not pop up. Yeah, let's go. Also, if you're interested